Alright, folks, I am Mr. Bailey, and I will be speaking to you all about literary practices today. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about percentages. So, we have a problem written out here. Convert the following fractions into percentages using proportions. So, as anyone would when given a problem like this, you want to try to break down the given information and what we have to do in order to solve it. So, if we need to convert the following fractions into percentages using proportions, I'd say we want to familiarize ourselves with fractions, percentages, and proportions. So, if we know we're going to be dealing with fractions, we want to refresh our memory or refresh ourselves on what fractions are. So, let's break them down. Fractions can be written in various ways, as you can see, and we'll start with this top left one here. So, right here, this 1 is called a numerator, and this bar we'll get into in a little bit because it can be a bunch of different names, as you will see. This 2 is a denominator. So back to this little bar, when it's written as a horizontal line like this, it's called a vinculum. When it's written as a diagonal, like a diagonal line or a slash, it is called a solidus. Then, when we have our standard division sign, just a dot, horizontal line and a dot, it's called an obolus. So these are the various ways that fractions can be written out. And it's important to note that the way these are read, they can also vary. So you can have 1 divided by 2, or 1 over 2, or 1 out of 2. So now we know what fractions are. Let's go back to our question at hand. So we also know we're going to be dealing with percentages. So we want to know what a percentage is. A percentage is a rate, number, or amount in each 100, or a rate, number, or amount out of 100. So the reason I circled or boxed out of over here and out of over here is because that's a commonality. So this 1 over 2 right here, as I noted here, it can be written or it can be read as 1 out of 2. And if we know that a percentage is a number out of 100, we can kind of relate the two. So if this is out of 2 and 2 is a denominator, and this is out of 100, we know we're going to have 100 in the denominator somewhere in our solutions to the problem at hand. So let's start with letter A here. If we have 77 out of 100, and we want to convert that into a percentage, it's actually kind of trivial because we already know that 77 out of 100 is a percent in itself, but since we need to use proportions, let's do it out anyways. So 77 over 100 equals some number, we'll call it x, out of 100. This is how you set up a proportion in order to convert numbers into percentages. So this method here looks like a little upside down bow tie. This is how you do cross products, this is a method that you can use to do cross products. So you start with the top left, go downward diagonally. So 77, you go from 77 to 100, and that is multiplication. This diagonal line is 77 times 100. Then you go across. The across line is division. And then when you go from the bottom left to the top right, that's the answer. So you go from top left to the bottom right, multiplication, then across, which is division, then you get the answer. So 77 times 100 divided by 100 is the answer, which is 77%. Moving on to the letter B, we have 1/2 equals some number, out of 100. And we do the same exact method. We go from top left to bottom right multiplication, from bottom right to bottom left division, and then you get the answer. So 1 times 100 divided by 2 equals 50%. The similar method can be used for 3 over 7, and you eventually get 42.9%. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you learned a lot.